Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan. And as you can clearly tell, I've got no underpants this episode. I'm simply following the suggestion of the second Ratchet and Clank game, Going Commando. And before I get accused of being out of character, know that I absolutely followed the third game's command when playing that. I was fine to do it, I just wondered why it had to be loaded. So let's play Ratchet and Clank 2. I left the game in the console since last time, so it should be really... What happened to the disc? After the credit sequence, we unlock a challenge mode that ups the difficulty while allowing us to keep the weapon levels and money, which is really cool. Am I going to play this mode? No. Oh. Wait! I didn't even dislike the game. I just thought about doing the challenge mode and... Damn it!
Thank you to MMX3, Tan, and Gamersnack for suggesting this game. Ratchet & Clank 2 Going Commando was developed by Insomniac Games and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Released in 2003, I have to note the insane schedule these first three entries had, coming out every year since the first one in 2002. Sure, they might be essentially the same game with some new UI and models here and there, but it's crazy how much has been done in just 1 year.
Man, what could possibly be the secret to that success? Oh!
I was informed through a comment that the third game was under a lot of developmental stress due to the ambition of adding multiplayer mode among many other elements, and this one is no different. Developing a game, even when it reuses multiple assets, takes time. How much time exactly? Probably more than a mere 10 months. Employees had to constantly grind day in and day out, working late for weeks straight just to get the game in a working state. And with the team growing from 40 to 80 developers, it could not have been easy to get everything cohesive. It's a bummer for sure, but seeing how this game is of the age where it can legally drink, I don't think getting upset about it now would help. We start out with Ratchet and Clank being interviewed as heroes for bringing peace to the galaxy.
Yep, who could forget?
The interview catches the attention of Dr. Fizzwidget, who immediately abducts the two to recruit them for a mission to recover a recent experiment. He promises to train Ratchet and get him into top shape, while also providing a familiar-looking luxury apartment. Word of advice, don't pay too much attention to the words he's using.
I'm sorry to incapacitate you, but our entire galaxy is in a very precocious situation. I must humbly request your sustenance on a mission of dire urgitude.
Don't worry about it too much, it'll make sense later. Now begins the first level, a quick and easy stage, get you used to the controls, and since this is the early 2000s, they still believe the inverted camera controls are normal. You're given two guns to start, the normal rapid-fire Lancer and the gravity bomb, which is insane for being just a starting weapon, but this is also just a tutorial level, so it shouldn't pose any difficulties. Unless you're playing in front of your friends.
Ryan, I think you can make that jump.
Jump to where?
Yeah, over there.
Yeah, that one.
That direction.
There's nothing there.
Do a
Well,
flip.
can you double jump?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
you
can
got
definitely
it.
make it.
Oh, yeah, you got it, man. I don't know if you
Oh.
went into higher, you just did a flip.
I hope, Ryan, you're okay with an audience judging too, but that usually happens. Look at the Target Darker 2 video.
There.
Oh my god, I have to start here!
Hey, no, Ryan, if you try it one more time, I'm pretty sure you can get it.
I think you really just got to commit to it.
So, I don't know if this was in the third game, but if you die enough on a certain section, the game will get progressively easier, making enemies die quicker until it despawns them entirely. It's a great way to subtly help the player and enhance the experience without adding a difficulty slider, and I found it on the tutorial level. I should really just get the tattoo, huh? Reach the end and we find the stolen creature, only to be held at gunpoint by the thief who makes off with the experiment and leaves us to fight off the last of the security force. One has to wonder why we're so easily held off when we've slain dozens of enemies before, but story got a story, I suppose. The thief enlists the helps of thugs for less, and we are off to planet Uzula to find information. Come in, wipe out the local wildlife, and I'm sorry, but I have to include this, otherwise my friends would disown me. It's better to piss in the sink than sink in the piss. platform around and you come to this slide where a dude is just waiting to sell us a product, which I presume is one of the later stages of capitalism. Buy the tool he's selling and we have access to the tractor beam, which will allow us to move objects with his orange symbol on them. It works alright. It feels a little awkward since the objects move in front of Ratchet regardless of where the camera is positioned, and it's just kind of weird sometimes. Going down a different path, we see a scientist who seems to be begging for help. But I know better. Move on forward and there's a mini-boss fight with a tentacled thorn monster. Beat that and you receive the Dynamo, a tool that activates these floating green orbs to spawn in platforms and traverse the level with. Here, I feel pretty good talking about the platforming, as the last game made me feel... But with this game, whether it's the tighter level design or my own familiarity with the controls, I found that platforming was not as rough to navigate as the last time. No fluids to expel here. The only problems I ever had were due to my own play style. I can't... Okay. God. Spent all that time.
Hey Ryan, next time you should try doing a bit faster.
I'm just trying to...
If you double tap the screen, you'll get a skateboard.
The screen?
Yeah.
You heard him.
It's not working.
I heard the tap.
I heard it.
I heard it.
It's not working. I was lied to. Son of a bitch!
Okay.
We're then informed by Fizz Widget that the Thugs for Less had set up a jamming array, blocking access to the Megacorp Galactic Gladiators. Meanwhile, Clank is being stalked by a superfan. Before she can profess her Tier 3 love, she's interrupted by an off-screen character who kidnaps Clank. So you're telling me the reason we don't have Clank in these beginning parts is because he stayed home just to get kidnapped? I guess he had to fill his weekly quota. We attempt to travel to the jamming array, but we're interrupted by a fleet of enemy starships. I've got quite a bit to say about this section, so as long as nobody talks about something confidential, I'll get right into it.
Hey Shane, if you don't mind sharing, how much do you make right now?
Damn, gotta do it later. We land on a planet that... Is that a slot machine? Oh, hell yeah. Oh God! Oh God!
Casinos only wish they could do that in real life.
Yeah, just blow up in your face and then...
This game has a
get eaten
built-in
alive.
dare program.
Dude, all the penny slots are just IEDs.
If you can resist the temptation enough to continue the game, you'll get to the arena where you fight waves of enemies to unlock the electrolyzer, which is used on certain points to hack electronics. To do that, you have to complete a minigame, aligning the nodes that they come across when the spark reaches their spot. And shit. The sparks reach the nodes in wildly different positions, and when they're coming in at basically the same time, I think I could be forgiven for thinking this minigame is just a touch on the bothersome side. Still retaining our fluids though. We get a video message from the thief who's kidnapped Clank, threatening Ratchet by straight up killing Clank.
Wait, if he dies here, what's gonna happen to the third game? What? Ah! Overall, I had a very good time with Ratchet, and the story of Ratchet fighting in memory of his fallen friend was really moving. It's so moving that I'm going to get close with all the different machines in my area. Guess this is just reality.
We can head out to the jamming array, which features this huge spherical world where you've got to find the transmitters, expose their weak points via a giant screw, and destroy them. This is a pretty great section and wildly ahead of its time for 2003. The boost pads that jump to higher platforms are great to use, and it's easy enough to find the transmitters by looking for their lights ahead of the horizon on the map. Only thing is, the curvature messes with some projectiles, making them needlessly hard to aim on the elevated platforms. Once finished with the array, we get more information on Thugs for Less with a promotional video for their group, and I just love this. Most, if not all, cutscenes displaying the world and its characters are very fun to watch. The Thugs members being real softies, complete with bake sales and grandma glasses, their leader promising fun outings for everyone, and their delightfully in-your-face style of the Galactic Gladiators promo makes pretty much every character a joy to experience, with one notable unfortunate exception, but we'll get to that later as we need to rescue Clank's dead body.
Damage is already done, but I guess we need a body to bury.
We find Clank, get pranked, and boot him back up from his mini-nap.
Guess that settles that.
To find a way out, Clank goes by himself to open up a path, which begins the Clank solo section.
Nope, not there yet.
Once again, Clank's sections are fine. This time with an added question mark because I swear his jump is far worse than the third game, not getting nearly enough ups to make the platforming feel good. And his glide is severely worse because you gotta press and hold the jump after the first jump instead of just holding the button. This can make a lot of Clank's platforming sections feel really clunky, and I dread going through them because if you die at all, you likely need to start at the beginning of the whole ordeal, which is easy to do when Clank has a piss poor attack and never receives any health upgrades, which I guess is designed, but it can feel really frustrating when enemies can loop you like this. Other than that, there's different microbots this time that can build bridges, lift, and hammer things, and all you need to do is activate them at the contextual area. It's not really worth getting into. Moving on. We now have Clank on the back of Ratchet, and this section made me appreciate what he brings to the table. Before, I couldn't discern the difference in the double jump and the high jump, and I never really had a reason to differentiate the two. Here, it forces me to use the high jump, immediately making it obvious how each of Clank's abilities help in different ways. So, very well done there. You can also change Clank to the rocket-powered instead of his traditional propellers, but I didn't like the way the wings were sticking out, so no thank you. A split path has us take on the Thugs for Less leader and return to Ratchet and Clank's apartment, where we get the swing shot and grind boots. With this, let's talk the weapons and gadgets. Like before, the weapons in this game are very fun to use, especially with the upgrade mechanic that gives you a better version of that gun with extended use. Sadly, there's only one level for the guns, if they even have an upgrade, but it's not like the few extra levels meant that much anyway. It's the final versions that count, and this cuts out the middle part. It's still good, and I love the inclusions. It's a shame that the weapon wheel has to be clogged with so many gadgets. At the moment, we have the Dynamo, Tractor Beam, and Swing Shot, a whole 3 slots taken by tools that have no battle utility whatsoever. And before you think it's reasonable, there are 2 more gadgets, being the Terminator and Hypnomatic. 5 out of the 8 slots taken up by traversal tools, leaving only 3 for the weapons you want to use. And if you're like me, wanting to upgrade as many guns as you can, it can leave you short on options very quickly. This was remedied in the next game with more pages for the weapon wheel, but we're in the good old times where everything was better by being worse. 1 wheel page, and if you want to swap weapons and gadgets, you need to pause, go to the menu option, select the slot you want, find the right thing, select it, and finally, now you're ready to use said weapon. Needless to say, it is very cumbersome to be swapping weapons like this, especially with the 3 limited slots you get, but you can get more if you swap out the traversal gadgets, argues an imaginary person. And while that is true, I much prefer to have all my tools on hand ready to navigate the world, instead of having to awkwardly swap around what I have every time I need to use the gadget. And even if I did keep more weapons on the wheel, it just creates the same problem in a different situation, so it's rough no matter how you play it. Which is a shame because I think the weapons are great, and there's even a shop where you can get guns from the first game for free, so long as you have save data from the first game. Moving on from disappointment, we enter a race with this biker's Bluebell, who loans it to us as long as we're careful. Okay, I was not gentle. So, I'm bad at understanding cars and racing them. This has been well documented. So I needed to string together a full lap of boosts, and even then I still wasn't in first. I needed to be near perfect in order to sniff the podium. And that's when I found myself in the gamer state. Oh, bitch! Ooh! Man, that needed everything I had. Now that we've got a helmet, we're accepted as a Thugs for Less member, and we find the Terminator, which can freeze and thaw ice. But if you ask me, the ice looks more like... it's better to cut. This section heavily features swimming around in tanks of water, which I don't like at all. Swimming feels very weird, and the game for some reason never gave me a control brief on how swimming works. Doesn't help that it's really unintuitive and jank is all hell to swim, using square to go down and X to go up, with R1 used for moving faster, but more often than not throws me into a wall with no way to tell where I'm going. So in short, next we're going to space to intercept a Thugs for Less transmission, which gives us another ship segment.
Oh, come on, we were doing so well!
I'm sorry, but these sections fucking blow. It's impressive in a wow, this was 2003 type of way, but the execution is just way too hectic and hard to grasp. You're tasked with shooting down all these enemies in 3D space with your laser guns and limited rocket ammo. And when they're this small, it's hard to hit the fuck! It's really hard to get a beat on these enemies. You're always being shot at, there's very little opportunity to restore health, and the rockets that lock on have a limited supply. And when there's multiple waves of enemies, it can be a real struggle, especially if you're a world-class pilot like me and crash into the wall deep within the second wave, and you have to restart the mission over again. Yippee! We even get a cutscene from Slim Cognito offering us ship upgrades in exchange for rare Terrium. Appreciated on a gameplay perspective, but it will never make them not bad. We trail the thief to the snow planet, fight them on top of this convoy of trucks, commit vehicular manslaughter, and face them down in an arena, which might have been a tough fight had I not been given the mini nuke since the start. We retrieve the experiment and go to meet with Fizzwidget at the Megacorp's mining planet, which used to be overrun by pesky rainforests and now is an easily traversable desert.
Oh, we're working with the bad guys, huh?
Fizz comes down, destroys our ship, and takes the experiment and launches us out of his ship to die in the desert planet. On the way, we encounter an upgrade for the wrench, and pairing that with the cool slingshot moments, I say I'm getting pretty good at this game.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What can I say? I'm kind of an expert. I didn't hold it.
I don't know.
In
much.
the arms of the
Hi, YouTube. How's
angels.
it going?
Shut up. Alright, listen, nobody's perfect. We encounter the thief at the end of the cave. They have a bit of a tumble, lose their mask, and it turns out that the thief is a she this whole time.
And illustrated right here is how many shits I give.
See, I would be all about this twist, defying gender expectations all the way in 2003, but the thief character wasn't all that interesting to begin with, and the only difference between being perceived as a female is losing the mask, cloak, and adding... Maybe I was too harsh on Dr. Nefarious. We return to the surface and collect crystal shards in the desert so this guy will repair our ship. This is very similar to the sewer crystals from the third game, but where that was crawling through maze-like sewers, this is more open and you're able to see the crystal nodes and enemies in the distance. So it's slightly better, I guess. It's all optional anyway, so... Go to Megacorp's testing lab and we need to restore power to a terminal, but I didn't get the glider from the desert level. We have the glider and we can follow the repair bot through the tunnel. Oh god, oh no, oh man! This glider manages to hit the perfect mix of not responsive enough to make quick turns and going way too sharp to control it with any form of accuracy, making any attempts to use it an absolute slog that will require more than a few attempts to clear. Finish that and we have to pay 10,000 bolts to access the computer. All I can say is, Jesus Christ, don't give them any ideas.
God damn it.
We learn that the experiment is incredibly dangerous, and our attempts to warn Fizzwidget falls on deaf ears. We attempt to meet him at the weapons facility, but when he's not there, we're called by the thief, who reveals her name to be Angela, along with Megacorp's plan to sell the experiment, which they call the Protopet.
Lonely. Stop by Planet Bolden and get yours free.
This is the plot Angela has been trying to stop this whole time, predicting destruction across the galaxy if Fizzwidget isn't stopped. Ratchet, still believing the Doctor is a misguided coot, intends to find him in the Bolden planet, but we find out that he is now under the protection of Thugs for Less after making a better offer than Angela. We try to find Fizz but get captured and sent to the remarkably accommodating Thugs for Less prison. Clank has no solution for escape until the Tier 3 sub bursts through an air vent and off he goes to turn the power off. We escape and get a transmission from Angela, who tries to infiltrate the enemy fleet.
Hey, who's that? Meow. Aw. Wait a minute.
See, a previous version of me would want that clip isolated, but I'm better now.
We now need to save Angela from Thugs for Less headquarters. Oh my god, big robot! Oh my god.
What's so
No,
funny?
the Goral.
Yeah.
Nothing, I guess. Prepare to die.
Oh, fuck shit!
Man, honest to God, that's the most accurate, I think, statement a villain has ever said. With the follow-up.
What's funny? I don't know.
Prepare to die.
So, this boss fight... Well, if I had any more fluids to expel, you know what would happen. You have to get in these turrets on the building while he shoots drones that hover in and damage you. You can shoot the drones to prevent damage, and you've got to do that at least 10,000 times because he takes so many hits and comes by to destroy the turret when he loses enough health. It's not a fun time, and the only joy I got from it was seeing a new animation after 5 minutes of the same shit where he takes a passing car and yeets it towards us. It's not hard, but I did get close to dying, and I would have been mad as hell if I had to restart that fight.
Hello? Aren't you forgetting someone?
Oops. Oh, I meant after we free Angela.
Oh my god, she's
I
dead!
thought you killed her. I thought you
Free her
straight up
from this
killed her.
mortal coil.
We learned that Angela used to be a scientist at Megacorp working on the Protopet to fix its flaws.
And I was this close to succeeding when Fizzwidget suddenly pushed up their release date.
What a beautifully ironic and perfectly aged statement, coming from a game that was itself rushed to be put out, while also encompassing the future trend of that very exact practice being normalized. Was this a cry for help?
Angela says that she can get into Megacorp with her old ID badge on her home planet. She gets it, but is overrun by protopets, which Megacorp has successfully distributed across the galaxy. Her home planet is an icy world with moonstones, which is very similar to the desert, which is very similar to the sewers.
Skip.
The original protopet must be destroyed to stop the cloning process, so off we go to Megacorp itself. But before we enter the duplication room, the Clank Simp robot stops us to show us a video. Throughout the game, we've gotten tidbits on what's happening to Quark after the first game, where we spoiled his reputation as a hero. He took off to selling defective hygienator products in order to finance his goal of creating a threat that he himself will save the galaxy from and regain his lost popularity. All in a well-shot and edited video of his storefront. One has to ask how she got a hold of this video.
Just what the f is going on?
Quark reveals himself to be Fizzwidget in disguise, planning to make the three heroes the scapegoats of the Protopet menace, which, being a Quark original plan, goes about as well as you would expect. Mommy. So we throw down against the giant Protopet using everything we've got to take it down. After 3 levels of arenas it smashes through, it finally dies. The real Fizzwidget is rescued, and Angela fixed the Protopet's flaws, saving the galaxy from all the others. Yes, it is exactly as abrupt as it looks. One last bit to mention, as you play through the game, you might do things that award you skill points, whether it's killing enemies in a unique way, shooting some background animals, gambling.
Wow, look at my skill!
When you get enough, it unlocks different cheats in the menu, which mainly boils down to giving different characters big heads. Yeah, this is a good game.
Overall, the formula from the third game still works, even when stepping back in time to the second game. I felt that the platforming and level design was way better compared to the third, as getting the gravity boots opened up loads of interesting level possibilities, being able to walk on walls and ceiling. They really took advantage of that well. The character and world are still a hoot, and the weapon gameplay is just as fun as before. However, it misses a lot with the different vehicle sections, making me audibly groan whenever I have to get past them. Plus, the ending is really abrupt and doesn't answer anything that takes place in the third game. Angela and the female robot are just poofed out of existence with absolutely no mention, and characters like Quark and Clank just end up with their starting roles with very little explanation. What I'm trying to say is, how did we get from this to f***ing the Jungle Monkeys?